Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? It's Latrice Williams McKnight, and I am so glad that you have joined us this evening. You are watching the Gospelology podcast, the place where we build a bridge for our youth between the miraculous powers of Jesus Christ and the marvelous world of science. Today, we are talking to an incredible doctor, educator, community leader, wife, mother, and of course, Gigi or Nana or Grandma. I'm sure that's a major vocabulary in her household. Like so many of us, she is multi-passionate and she's here to share a bit about her journey to creating a life she truly loves in the world of education. I have the utmost privilege and honor tonight to share with you just a little bit more about Dr. Deborah Hunley-Stukes. Dr. Deborah Hunley-Stukes is the division's first director of middle schools for curriculum and instruction for the Chesapeake Public Schools. Previously, she served as the planning principal and principal of Hugo A. Owens Middle School in Chesapeake and a program administrator for adult and continuing education department. Dr. Hunley-Stukes first joined the Chesapeake school family over 36 years ago as the division's first education for employment teacher coordinator. After serving as assistant principal for 3.5 years, Hunley-Stukes joined the district central office administration as staff assistant to the assistant superintendent for personnel, followed by an appointment as the elementary school principal at Sparrow Road Intermediate School. Active in her community, Dr. Hunley-Stukes served as a host for a local TV show called Growing Up in Chesapeake for more than 10 years. She also served as an officer of the Chesapeake branch of the NAACP for more than 8 years. Dr. Hunley-Stukes is a mother of and a member of the top Ladies of Distinction in Hampton Roads chapter and was Chesapeake, Virginia's Woman of the Year in 2011. Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce. She enjoys volunteering annually to feed homeless through the Norfolk Emergency Shelter Team, and we are so honored to have her. Dr. Hunley-Stukes currently serves as an adjunct professor of Old Dominion University. You go Monarchs! And I am so honored to have her here tonight. Hello, Dr. Hunley-Stukes. How
Hello,
are you today?
hello, hello. I'm doing well, doing well. My mom would be very pleased with that introduction. So thank you. Thank you. I do want to correct one thing. I have 39 years of experience in
Whoa.
education. So yes, yeah, I don't, I want to get credit for every one of them. I'm sorry. 39 years, just retired less than, well, July 1, retired in
Wow.
July 1. So
Wow.
yes, I
I
am.
just want to publicly say thank you.
Thank
Thank you on a totally personal level as well. I had one of those children there at Hugo A. Owens Middle School who spent lots of time in your office.
you. He's a fine young man.
So we at the McKnight household thank you, and we're so honored and privileged that you are a part of his life. You know, not many principals take that personal relationship where they actually are working with the students like you did, and we are so honored that you have been a part of our family's life. And so thank you from all of us, from all of us. So we're so glad to have you on our show this evening, and I am so excited about individuals tonight learning why education is the key. Why education is the key. And I could not think of anyone else who have served in the educational field, like you said, for almost 40 years, who could come tonight and just share with us about the educational field. And even, and I remember seeing too that you also were at the Science and Technology School. And so I'm just so excited that we can share so many things tonight with our audience. So are you ready? Are you ready to
I'm
get started?
ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Let's have a
I'm ready.
chat.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
All right.
Question number one.
Yeah.
We have to you here on for you tonight on the Gospelology show, Dr. Stukes, is with the educational field being one of the most challenging of professions, with a high degree of burnout and turnover and things of that nature. Why did you decide to enter into this education arena?
Well, Latrice, how much time do you have? How much time do you have? So, actually, we all have dreams, right? And I was a child raised in public housing in Petersburg, Virginia.
Mm.
And I always wanted to be a teacher, right, from the very beginning. But when I got in high school, I didn't do what teachers perhaps needed to do, or those who were going in that direction. My grades were not that good,
Mm.
not at all. As a matter of fact, being raised in public housing, my others had already decided what I was going to be, and it was not a teacher, not at
Mm.
all a teacher. So when I was in high school, my mother had a rule. The rule was don't bring any F's. F's are equivalent to E's in Chesapeake. Just don't bring any failing grades. I listened to my mom, but I brought a lot of D's in the house, a lot of D's. So therefore, I did not have the GPA that I needed to get into college at the time. It wasn't until my junior year that the light bulb kind of went off for me. I had girlfriends who were going off to college, and I knew that I wanted to get out of public housing, so I needed to leave as well. But I didn't have the grades. You might be too young to remember this, but there was, back in the day, there was a test that they would give,
Mm.
and it would match you with a career. My junior year, I took that test, and I was called into the guidance counselor's office, and she asked me, what do I want to be? And I said I wanted to be a teacher. And she said to me, there's no way. You can't be a teacher. She said, according to this, you can only be a maid.
Mm.
Well, I was devastated by that. So I looked at her and I said, I don't want to be a maid. She said, well, according to this is what you're going to be. So I went home, walking down the street. I was thinking about what she said and got in the house, and I told my mama Scarlett what the counselor had said. And my mother looked at me very seriously and she asked the question, Debbie, what do you want? What do
Mm.
you want to be? And I said, I wanted to be a teacher. And she said to me, a teacher you'll be, but you have to be willing to do the work. Now, keep in mind, I was a junior.
Mhm.
I wanted to graduate senior. So I had to do a whole lot of work in a little bit of time to get in someone's college, right? Well, unfortunately, that senior year when the light bulb went off and I finally decided to study, it still was not enough to get in the college that I wanted. So I had to accept, thank God for St. Augustine's College in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yes.
They needed a token. It was me. I was the token. They gave me that opportunity. And I got there and I got serious. As a matter of fact, I only stayed there 1 year. And then I transferred to my school of choice, and that was Virginia Commonwealth University. Got back up with my friends, never saw them because, again, I took it very seriously. The rest is history. I joined Chesapeake Public Schools in 1982 as the first education for employment teacher. And then I went on to become an assistant principal and decided when I was pregnant with my daughter, Courtney, that I would go back. They invited me back to be a speaker
Mhm.
for marketing and distributed education banquet. And I went in and I told the story about the maid, and they said, no, that can't be. My mother was with me, thank God, and she stood and she said, oh, yes, it was. They did tell her that. But I also went back to see that counselor, and I
Mm.
sat in the same seat where she told me that I could not be anything but a maid, and just reminded her of who I was and that I was not a maid.
Mm.
And at that time, I was an assistant principal. So that's part of my journey. That is my journey. The rest is history. Um, um, the lesson that I take from that, and I share this story every chance I get. Your son probably heard it because I shared it with my kids.
Mhm.
Your past does not dictate your future. Be willing to do the work, and you will make things happen. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful for my mom who continued to encourage me. I'm grateful for that. I won't call her name out, but I'm grateful for that counselor,
Yes.
right? She gave me what I needed to push and move on. So that's it. That's how
What
I
an
started.
amazing story. What an amazing story. And one of the things that we want to really enforce and put out to our parents are the importance of parents' influence on their children's lives, and how important it is to keep our children encouraged and to help them live their dreams. And your mom, Miss Scarlett, she did that thing, and to really have that faith in you and to show you that you can do whatever you want. You are an epitome of that. There are children or parents that are listening today, and that may think that that where they are is what they were going to become. But you said it. You said that your past does not have to define your future,
Absolutely.
and where you are is not where you have to end up.
That's right.
And so we're so thankful for that. I know I am. I'm so thankful for where you have gone and what you have done in the education system. That is just amazing, and we thank you. And that's a powerful thing to sit and to have that same seat
Oh
that
yeah.
you, ooh, that
Yeah.
was,
Same
that's,
here.
you
Same
know,
here.
I'm gonna make, not gonna make me run tonight. You're not
Uh-uh.
gonna make,
Uh-uh. Come on now. Come on.
that's a powerful
Yeah.
testimony. What a powerful, powerful testimony. What a powerful testimony. And so we thank you. And like we were just sharing, and as some of you may see some of the pictures on the screen, Dr. Stukes, your career in the Chesapeake school system spans for almost 40 years, like we shared. Can you give us a glimpse of that? And you did a little bit, but I wanted you to give us a little glimpse of that. And then over the years of your teaching, how has STEM changed the education system? And when we talk about STEM and changing the education system, of course, we have to think about what we're going through right now. And what we have been going through for the past 18 months. And you being the director over the curriculum and the things of that nature for our teachers in middle school, I know this was a trying time for them. And they had to pivot and probably teach different ways, in ways that they probably never thought that they would teach before. So over the years, how has your career in the Chesapeake system expanded over the years? And how has it helped you to deal with the different things that we now have to deal with, because we didn't have computers back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't have Google and, to look it up. I had to use an encyclopedia. And so
Yeah.
all of these things over the years, though, you've kept it up and you've kept up with those times. Can you please share with us how you've done that?
Well, I would love to say it was me, but it's not. It's
I
not.
know.
So I'm going to go back and answer the question in terms of the different jobs that I've had with Chesapeake Public Schools. Let me just say that I am a very blessed woman,
Mhm.
very blessed woman. I counted them up as I was retiring. I've been in 9 different jobs, technically 10, in my 39 years, and not one of those jobs did I not enjoy. So I'm very, very blessed in my career. I mean, it's ranged from a teacher, work experience coordinator at then the Chesapeake Vocational Center, the Chesapeake Center for Career, the Chesapeake Career Center, a staff assistant to the assistant superintendent, assistant principal, an elementary school principal, the program administrator for adult and continuing education, job that I absolutely loved, absolutely loved. The director of middle schools, again, the first in the district, and the director of academic support and career readiness. And I will also say that many of the jobs that I held with Chesapeake, I was the first in
Mhm.
those positions. So again, I'm a very blessed woman, very, very blessed woman. So when it comes to STEM in Chesapeake, I have to give props to our superintendent, Dr. Jared Cotton. Many of the citizens probably already know that we have the STEM Academy at Grassville High School, where 8th graders can actually apply to get into that academy over the years. But when Dr. Cotton came to our district, he wanted to make sure that we had opportunities for all students to be able to start moving in that direction. One of the things that he tasked us with was he shared some data regarding how there were many careers out there that were in the STEM field, but we didn't have the students, or they weren't job applicants who could qualify for those positions. So again, he wanted to do something different. He, along with several members of his team, they actually wrote a grant. They wrote a grant. It was actually it's called Go Virginia. It's a growth grant in education, but Go Virginia grant, $2.4 million, where they actually partnered, Chesapeake partnered with Loudoun County in this grant. And that came a couple of years ago, but it happened to come while I was in that position as the director for academic support and career readiness. So a lot of it came my way. I can tell you through that grant matched and provided an opportunity for us to create a pipeline for
Mm.
students to be involved in STEM activities, STEM courses, not just at the STEM Academy, but throughout the middle school years, and even filter down into the elementary school. This year, because of that grant, Chesapeake hired, that happened under my leadership, but 10 new computer science teachers in
Wow.
all of the middle schools. So now every 6th, 7th, and 8th grader, they have an opportunity to be exposed to STEM at the middle level. In addition to that, this past summer, as a result of trying to address some of the learning loss that was going on, we decided that we would have some enrichment summer courses for students, and we focused on STEM as a part of that. Some of those courses that we call Girls Who Code. It was
Yes.
amazing,
Yes.
amazing. We also partnered with VCU through a course called Code Beats, where
Mm.
students actually learn how to create beats, and they actually could actually perform for their parents, and it was a wonderful thing. We had almost over 100 students in our district who actually were participated in that program. We started for the first time to also start doing things for rising fifth graders regarding STEM. So we had activities for them, courses for them, computer science, some of the CTE courses. Also, this was the first time this past summer. And we're trying to, of course, strengthen the middle school program. So we're starting with the elementary school students, school students first. Also, as a part of that grant, Chesapeake for the first time now has decided to go down into the elementary schools. So again, you have STEM at the middle, you have STEM in the high school, you also have STEM at the Chesapeake Career Center where you have the cybersecurity and other programs there. But they decided to have STEAM at the elementary school. They
Yeah.
added the A for art. So there are additional art teachers that have been employed to actually filter and start introducing more of the STEM activities to students at the elementary level. So you can see now that it's starting earlier and
Mm.
it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger and more students are being exposed. In addition to that, there's this experiential learning, where students actually take what they've learned in the field regarding STEM, and then they're actually partnered in our business community with businesses, and they actually learn in the field. So a lot of exciting things are going on where STEM is concerned, and I'm very, very, very pleased. Very proud of our superintendent for his vision as well. He tasked me before I left to do some things, and I got it started. So now I've left it for some other people to kind of continue on with it. So real good stuff. Real good.
Awesome. Awesome. And
Yeah.
during that 40-year span, and that's the thing where I share a story of a young lady who had been working in the school system for almost 25 years. And when a position opened up, she just knew that she would get it. It was one in the administration area. And she's like, I've been here 25 years. I know I got this. I know I got this. And she was very upset when someone received that position who had only worked there for 10 years. And she was thinking, oh my God, this has to be discrimination. I'm filing something. And so as I talked to her, I began to ask her, so what do you think really happened? I don't know. I said, well, ask. And that she was told by the individual when she asked him, why didn't I get the position for 20, I've been here 25 years. I have 25 years of experience. And he told her, no, you have 25 years of 1 year of experience. The individual who came had 10 years of experience. And what you exemplify is how you grew in your 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened for 25 years. Yes, she was a teacher in the classroom, but that's all she did. She did not do any type of certifications and up her game and look for different things and ways that she can grow herself. She continued to teach for 25 years. But then when an administrative position became open, she was not as qualified as someone else who had been working and actually doing things to grow in her education field. And I'm looking at you today and all of the things, and like you say, you've been blessed. Yes, you've been blessed, but you did the work. You did the work. You took the classes, you took the certifications, even got your doctorate degree at Virginia Tech, and all of the things that you have done to expand on what God has given you. I am just so grateful to sit here and just see your growth and how you have expanded that 40 years to truly be 40 years of experience and growth in the education field. And then, as you mentioned, all of the different jobs that you have had within the city and how awesome that has been. We cannot have this conversation without congratulating you on being the first Virginia Milken Award
Ah,
recipient in education and receiving that award in 1999 and bringing it here to the state of Virginia. And if anyone knows out there about the Milken Education Award, let me tell you, The Academy Award has the Emmys, right? The Grammys Awards has the Grammys. Well, the Milken Award has the Education Award. And here we sit tonight with one of the top educators, not just in the state of Virginia, but in our country. And so we're honored to have you, and thank you for continuously growing in the educational field and seeing that our children are growing. Look at all of the different things that we're doing. And what I'm loving is that you shared that you're starting the STEAM, where you're down in the elementary schools now, because the younger we start, the better it is. And so we're so blessed that the county and the city has done that. And so we're so excited about that as well. And so again, thank you. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm just honored to sit in your presence. That's all I
You're
got to
so
say.
kind. You're
Just
so
so
kind. You're
I'm
so
so
kind.
honored to sit here and to really let people know education, it's the key. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and how important this, and what you're not just a speaker, but you're a doer. And I remember, and I wanted to share with this, and they'll probably put it on the screen for us, in an article that was written in the Virginia Pilot in October of 2006. It
Mm.
describes your passion of educating, not just our younger students, but the older adults as well. And so I wanted to share a little bit of that article with our viewers on tonight, because you did something that was truly, as Promac would say, amazing. And I wanted to share a little bit about that. In the article, it states how when you were assigned the position, it says here, I'm going to read a little. Deborah Hunley-Stukes wants to give away thousands of high school equivalency diplomas. The new administrator of the school's division's adult and continuing education program knows that 22,500 people in the city don't have GED or better. 22,000, y'all. And so this is what she says. I think that's due in part to the fact that they do not know we're here, Hunley-Stukes said. Her goal is to get the word to as many people as she can that free help is available to prepare for the test and take it. Okay? And she's listen to what she did, y'all. This is what I want y'all to hear. She's buying advertisements, getting the city to put information on its cable TV stations, and has hung a giant sign on the side of the program's annex building at the corner of South Battlefield Boulevard and Mount Pleasant Road. The sign advertises Race to GED, a state program begun in 2003 to streamline preparation for the tests. When Hunley-Stukes took over adult education in Chesapeake this summer, she received a $56,000 grant from the state to help get city residents through the program. Once people sign up, they are tested on their readiness to take the 5-part GED test. Those who need a boost in math or writing, for example, can be placed in a class to help sharpen their skills. Now, when I tell y'all education is the key, and I have the person here tonight that is a prime testimony that she truly believes that education is the key. It's not just the smaller kids, y'all. It's not just the middle school, but Dr. Stukes has a passion to see that even our young adults and adults in our community get an education. 22,500 individuals in our city were lacking a high school education or equivalent. And so, Dr. Stoops, I'm just, I don't even know what to say. And the thing is that I want you to just tell us why. What is it to you that makes it so important for our community and for our children and for people to make sure that they understand that education is the key?
Well, let me tell you, I start off by saying, I've never had a job that I didn't love.
Mm,
This job as the program administrator for adult and continuing education, again, I was the first in that position. It was amazing,
mm,
amazing. So when I got there, I had no idea what I was doing. I'll
mm,
tell you, I didn't. I, I did know the power and the importance of getting that high school equivalency. I go back to home a lot. My mom got her GED on the day that I got my undergrad from VCU, right? So it was pretty cool. But I also knew that my mom was not. a dumb cookie by any means. She's very, very bright. But life happened with my mom, right? So when I got to this position, I thought, well, life is probably happening with other people. So let's find out. But what I found out also, Latrice, was that not only was it 22,550 in Chesapeake, but it was 1.7 million in the state of Virginia without a high school diploma. So we wanted to focus on our segment. And we did. We did exactly what the article said. We got out there. We partnered. We partnered with the city of Chesapeake. We partnered with different businesses, portions of the shipyard. It didn't matter. We went into housing communities. We taught classes in the community. We had satellite locations, but we wanted to get the word out. And I will tell you that when talking with the group, this population, where life has thrown them some curveballs. Again, if you ask them, they'll tell you, no, I didn't want to stop school, but I had to because of whatever reason. And our thing at the time was it didn't matter. It doesn't matter why you stop, but there's a second opportunity. So we use it as a tagline. It's never too late to receive a second chance. So we started making sure that everybody knew, first and foremost, I will tell you, I was also the chief examiner, GED examiner for Chesapeake, the city of Chesapeake. And what many people think or feel is that GED is the easy way out. I can tell you without divulging anything, that test is no joke. It was normed with some high school students, high school seniors years ago, and half of them failed. So the test itself is no easy feat. Okay. So you have people who have gone into life and they've mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, they again decide, I want to come back. What we did was to say, okay, you can't, maybe you don't have the ability to take the whole test at one time. So we started one test at a time. Just take your time. Just get through one test at a time. And it was free, thank the Lord, because we had these grants that I had written that the superintendent didn't tell me I had to write. That's a little sidebar there. But anyway, I learned how to write grants, and we did. We got the money, and they actually started to come. We grew the program so much the superintendent called me, and I'll never forget it. And he says, Debbie, time out. You got to stop. Like, oh, you got to stop. Well, there's so many people out there, and they were coming. They were coming in droves. What was exciting for me is during the graduation, when these adults, when they walk across the stage with the cap and gown, and they turn that tassel and they share their story, and you have their family in the audience that are rooting them on. It's an amazing thing to watch. Under my tenure, my leadership, we had the oldest adult at that time was 83 years young. Okay, 83. I would love to say that, we really did something, but I have to tell you, the program now under Dr. Fontaine Farabee John's leadership, who's the supervisor now in that position, she had the oldest graduate at age 93.
Wow.
93 years young. That lady walked across the stage. She took that test. It's amazing. It's just amazing to see. And they come to class. They're serious about their learning. So I will also tell you that that number then was 22,550. So I did my homework and I wanted to know, okay, where are we now? So right now it's 11,500. That's where it is as of today.
That's
11,500. That 1.7 million is now 666,000. So the people across the state of Virginia, they're doing the work. The message is getting out. I certainly hope that someone sees this who wants that second opportunity. Please give them a call in the Adult and Continuing Education Department. Stop by. They will definitely put you on that road. It was an awesome job.
Oh my goodness.
Job. So yes, never too late to receive a second chance.
It's never
Just
too
do
late
the
to
work.
receive a
Exactly.
chance. You're exactly
Absolutely.
right. Dr. Stukes, the people in the chat are going bananas. They're actually saying, wow, this is amazing. And they're talking about what an outstanding lady you truly are. You're remarkable. But they also are talking about how education is the key. Education is the key. And they're like, that's right. And so we're so excited that they're really understanding that this is so important, that education It's a foundation. And so we're really so excited about that. And what I would love for them to do, we're going to take a commercial break right now. And what I would like for our audience to do is while we're gone for about a minute, I want y'all to put in the chat, why do you think education is the key? And what can we do even more as adults and parents to make sure our kids understand that education is the key? And when me and Dr. Stukes come back, we're going to look in that chat and we're going to share some of those things with our audience. So we'll be right back here on the Gospelology podcast, where we stem from him.
After saying this, Jesus spit on the ground and made some mud. He rubbed it on the blind man's eyes. The blind man was like, "This is weird. Feels very strange." Then Jesus said to the man, "Go wash your eyes in the pool of Siloam." This word means sent. The man trusted Jesus, so he went to the pool and washed his face. After he washed his face, he could see. He said, "I was blind, but now I see." He could see for the very first time in his life. He walked home looking at everything around him. When his friends and neighbors saw him, they didn't think this was the same person. The man told everyone that Jesus healed him. Jesus said to the blind man, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" The blind man said, "Who is he, sir? Tell me so that I may believe in him." Jesus said, "You have now seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you." Then the man said, "Lord, I believe." And he worshiped him.
Welcome back to the Gospelology podcast, where we stem from him, and we are honored to have Dr. Deborah Hunley-Stukes with us today. And so we are just talking about how education is the key. Now, when we left, we asked our audience to, put in the chat, what do you think and why do you think education is the key, and what can we do as individuals to actually do what we need to do as adults to make sure that even us as a whole, as you heard, the numbers were staggering with even adults in our community who did not have high school equivalent or GED equivalent diploma and across the state. And so as we've seen, people realize that and they started doing what they needed to do. So I'm just looking to see what some people said. They said Dr. Stukes also works faithfully in her church. Oh, they want us to know that you that you work and you know what and you know what, let's jump to that, because that's one of my next questions, and the commercial was there for Gospelology for that reason, for us to see that there's a way that you can combine the gospel with science. And and when you talk about working faithfully in your church, I have had the privilege to come and speak at your church on several occasions, and I will not come without a science experiment. And so and it was, and you guys were so open and receptive. The congregation, your pastor, they loved it. And at the end, we went in the back because they had to make sure they figured out how I did that, And so the thing is that being open to that, just share with us a little bit, about your gospelology background, because you guys accepted that, and not many people would have people come into their church and teach science. and it's like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. But I want you to tell us a little bit about this. Can you tell us about, first of all, your relationship with God and how your faith played a part in your climb through the educational ranks? And then just share with us a little bit what your view is on science and religion. Thank y'all for telling us that question, because I know how faithful she is. So she's about to tell us right now a little.
Well, I will say to you, Latrice, and this it gives me great pride to be able to just to share that all that I am, I know you've heard the song, all that I ever hope to be, I owe it all to him. God is a big part of my life. And I have to, again, I got to go back to Miss Scarlett, my mom, because, when we were younger, she would say, when things get tough, get on your rusted knees and go in the closet and just talk to me. Just talk to him. So I've been on my rusty knees for a very long time. Every position that I've had with Chesapeake Public Schools, he's been with me.
Mm.
He's been with me. I have to share that when I was principal at Hugo Owens Middle School, I was there for 11 years. And we were a school that was not supposed to be accredited. And we did, staff did amazing things with kids. And we were fully accredited. And we spanked some other schools. It was really cool.
Yes.
But I will tell you that every morning before I got into that building, if you get to the corner where the Rite Aid is on Galberry Road, we were talking to Jesus. Talking to Jesus. So he was with me. And there were times that when things would happen, I would stop and say, did I pray today? Lord, did we talk? Did something go wrong? But again, there's no way that I can do anything without him. I give him all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory. I'm grateful. Because all that I am, and that's just not a saying, I owe it to him. So God is a big part of my life, a really big part. I am active in my church, and I believe in bringing people in and also making them, not making them, like having them to be a part of the wonderful things that we have going on in Lee's Chapel AME Church in Bells Mill. So in terms of science and religion, what's my view? To me, it's a no-brainer. There is no science without God. I'm just saying. I'm not a biblical scholar, but I know it says, everything was made. That was made by God. So there you have it, in my opinion. That's it. So there is a connection. So I thank him. I thank him for being a part of my life. And I pray that he just keep wrapping his loving arms around me and just holding me and giving me what I need to continue on this journey. So, yep, it's all him.
I love it. I love it. And as you began to talk about the prayer, and I could see, and when you were talking about the Rite Aid and all of these things were in my head, because I could see this on Bell's Mill, I could see you traveling and doing that and talking to God in those instances. And I'm just so grateful and thankful to be talking to someone who has always been the first. And I think that has been a big, it's a credit to God, how he seen fit to sit you in positions as the first woman in so many of the seats that you have been in. And so to say publicly and to acknowledge him, and I know you do, because I know you, you always give God the glory and you always give him the credit. And so it's so important for us to remember in everything that we do, like you said, give him all the glory. Absolutely. And give him all the praise. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate you inviting me to share my little experiments at your church.
You'll be back.
And I love coming back. And so I love doing that. And so to Lee's Chapel AME, I love you guys. And thank you for having me. And thank you for just letting people come in and be themselves and to worship God in that way. And so I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. So I just wanted to ask you this one last question as we move forward. And I wanted to share this. I just wanted to ask, what do you see as the next thing in education, especially in this new normal and the world of technology? So what do you see as the new thing? I know that there was a big pivot that you all had to do, like we shared earlier, with the computers and things of that nature, and the things that are going on within the educational system, and how they're putting STEM in there with our young people now in elementary STEAM in the elementary school, and that's great. But what do you think, Dr. Stukes, is the next new thing? And then I have another question for you after you finish that. And this one's a personal question, but what do you think is the next new thing in education, especially in this new normal in the world of technology that we're in today?
So I'm not so sure if it's going to be the next new thing, Latrice, but we all know about this pandemic and what has happened and what it has done to us in education, to our children. We had to learn how to do some things on a dime when it comes to continuing to provide education or some form of education during a pandemic. I was very fortunate, I guess, to be in Chesapeake schools during the onset of the pandemic. And I will tell you that I watched teachers and administrators do some amazing things when it came to trying to ensure that students did not miss a beat. Did we get them all? No, we didn't. But did we try? Yes, we did. I watched teachers have what I'd like to refer to as the patience of Job,
Mm.
because they had to actually, they were forced to learn very quickly how to teach and how to navigate in a virtual world.
Mm.
This was not, you know, some of them were very familiar, but there were many who were not. And they were willing. They were willing to learn. They were willing to do whatever it took to ensure that the kids did not, the students did not lose everything that they were going through during the pandemic. This group of people, in my opinion, are heroes. You know,
Mhm.
we see signs, but these people, the teachers, amazing people who are willing to learn something new to ensure that they could continue to support and teach kids. They were teaching virtually, or they were some of them were teaching in a blended model where they had kids at home and they had kids in the school building, something that they'd never done before. And they had little training. They had some training, but little training. So, in terms of the next new thing, what I would hope, one, first and foremost, I know that education as we know it would never be the same.
Mm-mm.
It will never be the same, right? And you know, the pandemic is horrible. And we know what it's done and it's taken some lives, but we learned some lessons from that. Right? We knew that we had to put computers in every child's hand, right? But now, what I'm hoping that will come from this is that every child, regardless as to where you are, what area of the city that you live in, that you have the necessary tools, you have the computer that you need, the Chromebook that you need to ensure that you can actually learn at home. You actually have, so that when kids are at home learning, let's say that we're shut down again because of the pandemic or because of a snowstorm, that you can connect to technology and you don't have the hiccups. That
Mm.
teachers can actually continue to provide adequate instruction without the hiccups, because there were hiccups. Again, we were in a unfamiliar territory. So I'm hoping that in this new, the next phase, that we will actually be able to ensure that learning will continue, that there will be no learning loss as a result of the pandemic, because teachers will have the necessary tools, students will have the necessary equipment that they need so that they can continue, and we won't have to worry about pivoting and going back and trying to teach and do things differently to try to catch them up. So again, I don't think it will ever be the same. And in some regards, I think it's going to provide some additional opportunities to some students that perhaps were having issues or could not be in that setting. Now you have an opportunity. We have now a virtual high school as a result of this. That's something brand new. While it's a horrible thing, it's a horrible, horrible thing. But I have to salute every teacher who worked, every administrator who worked during that time to make sure that their babies were okay.
Mm. You
Yeah.
know, I would love for the individuals who are joining us live today, if you could just hit that heart button and just do that for some teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers we know have been with our children, teachers that have been with your grandchildren, teachers that have been with your nieces and your nephews. It would mean so much if we could just put some hearts in the chat so that we can just share with the teachers how much we appreciate them and that we appreciate everything that they're doing for our students and for our young people. And again, Dr. Stute, you're exactly right. They have been heroes in this. And a lot of times they don't get the praise and the just due. And so if we can, just like, you know, how they used to say, we have some hearts coming up. You should see it. It's awesome. But it's just amazing. But a lot of times we don't give people their flowers when they can smell.
That's
And so tonight, we just want to let the teachers know that the flowers are with you. We're presenting them with you tonight. And we appreciate you so much for everything that you do. And something that you said that was so powerful, also that our children, to make sure that they have the equipment and the things that they need, to make sure that they have the supplies and the computers and the Chromebooks and even the connections that they need to carry this out. All of those things are so important. And that is so true, that all of those things are needed. And so I believe that with this happening, it opened up the eyes of so many people. And sometimes it takes God to shake us up a little bit
absolutely.
for us to see that we need certain things. And first of all, we need Him.
Amen.
Okay, that's number one. And then secondly, we need to change some things that we do. I think even during this pandemic, it even made parents or people who are at home with their young people look at school and education differently. It
Absolutely.
made us be with our children and our families and do some things that we didn't think we may have to do. But we appreciate the teachers even the more now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that is so true. And so I'm looking at and they talked about the virtual high school and how that's working out. Also, Dr. Stukes, they wanted to make sure I let you know that they appreciate how you encourage vocational education as well, cosmetology and nursing, and those things. So they said that you encourage those students as well. They said virtual high school will be actually something that students will do for college as well. You know, you'll see a lot of online colleges and universities. So this is just great. This is just great. We had thank yous for people thanking us for interviewing one of the most honest and sincere women connected to public education. And it was my honor. It was my honor. And that's what I want to ask her next, everybody, because I know everybody is wondering. For Dr. Deborah Hunley-Stukes, what's next?
Oh, I don't know.
What?
I want to try to figure this retirement thing out and see if it works for me. I don't think it's going to, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to give it a shot. So I will tell you on a personal note, well, professionally, I've been an adjunct professor at ODU for a little bit over 6 years, and I will continue to do that because I love, love, love teaching. And I love teaching teachers how to become administrators. That's where my passion is right now. I'm spending the time with my mom, as I shared with you. I have a nephew, and that I'm working with, trying to make sure that he can navigate his way through college for the first time. So I'm excited about that. Also, spending the quality time with my mom. But I know there's a what's next, and for me, I tell you, there has always been this drive to be more active and involved in the community. So I want to do that, but I don't know what it looks like right now. But I know it's coming. I know it's coming. So for the next couple of months, I want to kind of figure out what retirement looks like and just kind of rest for a minute and then see what's next.
I love it.
I'm asking him for direction. Trust me, I'm asking him for direction on this.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's put our cups up and have
Absolutely.
our tea and our coffee, and we're going to drink to the what's next.
All right. I'll drink to that.
Yes, Dr. Stukes, you have been totally amazing this evening, and we thank you so much for joining us here today on the Gospelology podcast, just to share the importance of education and how it is the key, and sharing your passion, oh my goodness, of 40 years of education, and all of the things that you have done for us in our community and across the world, and the people in the different states, and how you've mentored women all over. And I just thank you. I thank you for being a part of my life. And I know I have a feeling of what's next. You probably don't know, but I know that the what next is going to be an amazing stint of you just encouraging and pushing other young women to be the first at whatever they do. And so I believe that. And so I'm thankful that you're in my life. So
let me just give you your props, because what you're doing here is truly amazing. I keep saying it amazing because I hear your voice, but it really is. It really is to make learning fun, but also to make that connection to the word, right? That is amazing. And it encourages those young people to be able to feel free, to open the book, have some fun with the science thing, but also learn about God's word. You should just, I don't put you up here, girl. You just, yeah, I salute you. I salute you and I bow to you. Thank you for the good work that you're continuing to do. I shared with you before, you're a teacher. Without a doubt, you are a teacher, an amazing one at that. So thank you for the opportunity.
Well, thank you. As long as I stay around people like you, I'm going to be just fine. So thank you, Dr. Stukes, again, to all of the people out there in Gospelology land. Thank you for joining us here on the Gospelology podcast, where we stem from him. And if you want to catch this again, please check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the Gospelology YouTube channel. Check us out on Instagram at Gospelology. Follow us on Twitter at Gospelology1. Follow us on Facebook at Gospelology, We Stand From Him, where you will be able to see this again. And you can also take a look at some of the other podcasts that we had coming to you. So thank you guys again for joining us this evening. Dr. Stukes, thank you again for being a part of this. I thank you. To all of you, have a wonderful evening. And remember, we stem from him. So take it away, Gospelology. Uh-oh. God bless you too.
Gospelology, uh-oh. Gospelology, oh. Gospelology, uh-oh. Gospelology, oh. Gospelology, uh-oh. Gospelology, oh. Gospelology, oh. Jesus turned water into wine. It's amazing. Jesus even healed the blind. It's amazing. How all the planets are aligned. How all chemicals are designed. Teaching the gospel with a scientific twist. All of his miracles are magnificent. Teaching the gospel with a scientific twist. All of his miracles are magnificent. Oh, Gospelology, uh-oh.